Well, so what happens is every year, all big companies, small companies like this, even smaller than this, they have issues with ransom attacks. You guys heard of this happening?
Oh yeah.
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 Where somebody does something and it encrypts all the files on the network and locks them out, and then to unlock them, you either have to restore them or you have to pay a fee to get them back to these cyber crooks, which lately, the cyber crooks who had been really good about making sure you get your data back so people felt comfortable paying these, well, comfortable, but they knew if they paid the ransom, they would get their data back. Recently, they've only given back a portion of it and been demanding more money, or some of the data was ransomed, and then another ransom company comes in and encrypts again, and then nobody is really earned it. So it's going to be a real big mess. 98% of these attacks happen because somebody in a company gets an email and they think it's something legit, and it has a link in the email or attachment, most of the time a link, and they click on this link thinking they're going to get an Amazon reward or a CVS reward or a free pizza, or they're connecting to somebody on LinkedIn and it didn't take a minute, and they click a link and then they infect their computer, which then spreads throughout the network and so forth. Does that make good sense? If you get a link in any email and you hover over that link, does anybody know what happens?
When another little thing comes up with the web address?
That's correct. That's exactly it. The URL of where you're actually going to go will appear. So if it says, click here to reset your password, and you hover, and the link comes up and it says, you know, some bogus email or web address, or a bunch of Chinese or graphical stuff that doesn't look right, chances are you're going to get ready to infect your computer. Before you click on any links for any emails, you need to do one thing before you do it. I want you to hover over the link before you click. Now, when you hover over a link, does anybody know what happens? Has anybody done that before? So right above the the link, the URL or the web address of where you're actually going will appear. Now, if you get an email from CVS saying you've got a reward and you hover over the reward and it says cvs.com/reward, then it's probably safe. It's legit. If it's CVSS or something like CVS Rewards with a Z, that's hard to tell, but I would say not safe. So crooks will register domain names that are similar to it, or Amazon Rewards with a Z, or something similar. So be very careful. If it says cvs.com/reward, that's probably safe. If there's something off just a little bit, you gotta be careful. That's probably not safe. So always hover before a link before you click. And a lot of these fraudulent emails they feel very urgent. So it could be like you've been issued a citation from the DMV. That's urgent. What am I going to do? I've got to click on this link. That's when they get you. Or it could be some sort of credit card fraud, saying your credit card was charged $5,500. Is this fraud? Click here. If it's legit, click here. You guys have seen those texts come through and stuff. So if you got one, you're thinking $5,500. That's not right. That's urgent. Click. Well, and it doesn't matter if you click either one. If you just happen to buy a car for $5,500, you're like, oh yeah, that was the car I bought. It's legit. Either one would infect your computer potentially. So you gotta hover over both of the links. Okay? Or attachments.
Yeah.
So if you get a Word or an Excel attachment, if you open a Word document, at the very top it'll say enable content. You ever seen that? I know some of the newer versions do it, but the older versions may not. I don't know what versions. If you click the enable content button, that's how you can then infect your computer. So it's very uncommon for somebody to email a Word or an Excel document unless you kind of know what it's all about. Most of the time we'll get PDFs and things like that, but even PDFs can be infected. The game. So the next thing is to verify the sender. So what I mean by that is if I send an email, let's just say my email is Randy at Sklar Tech.com, right? Now, if you get an email from me, you need to make sure it says that, because it could say Randy Sklar Tech at email.com. It's pretty similar. It looks the same. And if you're not really paying attention, it's not me at all. Somebody else could just register an email address at email.com or outlook.com or Yahoo or Gmail or any of these free webmail services. There's nothing against the law. And they can register that same name. So you got to be very careful. I had this happen to a client last week, and they wired $17,000 to who they thought was her, which was, Jane Doe at mindspring.com, but it was Jane Doe mindspring at email.com. And they're not out 17,000, they're out 34,000 because they still had to pay it. So be very careful about who it is, specifically if they're asking you to wire money or do something for them. And urgent. If there's an urgency coupled with the fact that they're unavailable. I'm on a cruise ship, or I'm on a vacation, or I'm at the doctor and I can't be reached, and I need you to do this now. I need you to make this purchase or wire this fund or do this thing, whatever it is, and it has to happen now, and I'm not available to talk. That's when you want to verify the sender and call that person and verify it, because that lady was on a cruise ship that was unreachable, and then when they wired the money. When the second request came, they got a little suspicious and they called the lady, and she said, I'm not on a cruise ship, I'm in my house. I don't know what you're talking about. So calling that person is a good way to verify. I recommend it. It's easy to fall victim for those things, so be very cautious. Has anybody ever gotten a pop-up on their screen that came up and said that your computer's infected? Call an 800 number. Never seen this? It's pretty rare, actually. In a group this size, I would typically find at least one person. And it can just happen for various reasons, but you're just plugging around on the internet, and all of a sudden you get a screen that pops up and it says your computer's infected, and they ask you to call an 800 number. And if you call that 800 number, they're going to say, well, for $200 or $300, I'll remote it into your computer and I'll clean it up. And it's a legit service, and you pay them, and now you just allow them access to your computer. And I know a lot of people have actually done this. And these aren't like, ignorant people. These are like lawyers. These are people with lots of intelligence that should know better. But they do it, and then they allow them in, and then the scam just continues from there. They say, well, we need to check the other devices on your network at $300 a piece. So the scam continues. If you get a pop-up, a lot of times, it'll be up on your screen, and it's going to have all the instructions on what to do, and there's going to be an X in the corner to close the screen. So your temptation is, I don't want this, I'm going to click the X. Well, if you hover over the X and it says close, then it's probably going to do what you think it's going to do. But if you hover over the X, it might be a link. It might send you someplace to another website, or it might download infections onto your computer, like ransomware. So the temptation is hit the X. There's a little trick that you can do. You can hit Alt and then the F4 button while holding down Alt, and that'll actually close out the top screen, whatever's the last thing you clicked on, which was probably that little pop-up.
Even if you didn't click on it?
Well, so you're not going to click on the pop-up, but chances are it's going to pop up, and that's the last thing on your screen.
So it closes the face.
It closes the top thing, which is probably that. If it's not, it's going to be in the top 2 or 3. So if you accidentally close down a program like Outlook or Reynolds or something, so be it. At least you didn't have to click on the X. Importantly is call like fast, quickly. Don't wait. If you click on a link in an email and you suddenly get that sinking feeling like I think I just did something wrong, you need to put your pride aside and call someone immediately. Because if you call within 2 or 3 minutes, chances are we can quarantine whatever it is, maybe to your computer. If you wait till after lunch or later in the day and you kind of think, I should have probably called, now it's too late. And then the last thing is to do it quickly. Reach for help quickly. You know, if you fall for a scam, you forgot to hover, you click, put your pride aside. You know, you're going to get caught. We're going to know it in a lot of cases if it happens because your computer's infected and you may do a lot of denying, but eventually we can figure it out. And that's fine. It's not about catching you doing something silly. It's if you wait a long time, let's say if you called me after lunch, an hour, then the chances are it's already spread throughout the network. And that's going to be probably a multi-day cleanup effort.